Welcome back. The control of the Minnesota House and Senate will be decided by two special elections this month. The primaries for those special elections the same day as the start of the legislative session this coming Tuesday. For the Senate, the special election aims to help fill the seat held previously by late Senator Carrie. Her death leaves the Minnesota Senate at a 33-33 split. Obviously, a lot of emotions going into this session as well. Joining us now is Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy, who was elected to take over for Senator Dietzig as Senate Majority Leader last spring, almost a year ago, when we learned her cancer diagnosis returned. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So many things, so many layers, so many complications going into Tuesday. Just your thoughts as we start this legislative session, both on the Senate and the House side, with everything going on there. Will Democrats show up? You know, as they have their own struggles with balance of power. Just your take as we start things.
So I am really glad you opened this segment recognizing our beloved colleague, Senator Carrie Dietzig, and her loss is fresh for us and our caucus, and I think the Senate and the legislature are all reconciling that loss and what it means for us. She was deeply cared for in our caucus, and I will say it is, in addition to all of the politics around us, the start of the session that is laced with the grief of a loss like that is real. And so, you know, we are looking out for each other as best we can, knowing that we have a job to do for the people of Minnesota. And we've spent the last number of weeks getting ready for the start of the session, and we will be ready to lead for the people of Minnesota.
Yeah, and we know, you know, a special election for this reason. Nobody wants a special election in the first place, especially for the reason such as this. Talk about some of the things that you see as some of your top priorities going into this session. We know there's already been discussions about sports betting and some various things. What are some of the subjects that you are excited to tackle?
Our top priority as a caucus and for Minnesota is to balance the budget, and we are constitutionally obligated to balance the budget. We are in a strong fiscal position with a flush rainy day fund, a strong carry forward, and a budget surplus. And we got good news from MMB this week that the forecasted amounts in the last 2 months coming into the state's reserves are above forecast. So we feel good about the foundation for balancing the budget, and that has got to be our top priority. But we also want to make sure we are protecting the gains that we made for the people of Minnesota over the last couple of years. And when we think about things like the child tax credit and universal school meals and free college tuition for families making $80,000 a year or less, the work that we did on infrastructure, the consumer protections like protecting against medical debt. We did a lot of work for the people of Minnesota. We want to make sure those things stay intact. And last, I think it is important to now acknowledge that we have a new president coming in and a trifecta government at the federal level, and they are aiming to do budget cuts or deportations to separate families that could have a very serious impact on the way people are living in the people of Minnesota and our ability to deliver affordable health care across the state of Minnesota. It could impact the jobs of people who work, especially in rural places. So we're going to be pushing our congressional delegation to make sure that Minnesota's budget is intact and our health care providers, our hospitals and clinics can do the jobs that we need them to do for the people of Minnesota. We have a lot to do.
You do have a lot to do, and balancing the budget, of course, is a big one. Real quickly, we only have a couple seconds left, but talking about the balance of power, Senate and House in a very, very unique position. Speaking specifically to the House and thoughts that Democrats might not show up on Tuesday, given all of the complications and things that are going into this battle over one particular seat. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, in the Senate, we find ourselves in a very rare tie. We are an odd-numbered membership in our body, and we have been working to make good progress in good faith so we can be organized and ready to go. And I have, you know, confidence that working with my Republican colleagues, we will show up and be ready to do the work for the people of Minnesota. I have faith in my House colleagues as well. I'm frustrated to see what looks like an attempt to try and legislate a majority that wasn't delivered to you by the voters, but that is the other body. We are, you know, focused squarely on the work that we need to do for the people of Minnesota. And as I said at the start, our caucus, that will be back in the majority after the special election, is ready to do that work.
All right. Senate Majority Leader Erin Murphy, thank you. We appreciate your time this morning, and we'll be following, of course, as the session gets rolling. So
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.